The cabin door slammed shut behind me as I stumbled inside. Rain pouring down like the sky had cracked open. My best friend Ben was supposed to meet me here hours ago, but the place was empty except for the faint glow of a lamp in the living room. That's when I heard it, muffled voices from upstairs. One of them Ben's father, Mr. Thompson, the man I'd idolized as a pillar of strength my whole life. I froze on the stairs, heart pounding, as I peeked through the cracked bedroom door and saw him locked in an embrace with another man. Their kiss raw and desperate, shattering every illusion I'd held about family, loyalty, and myself. Why hadn't Ben warned me? We'd planned this weekend getaway to escape the suffocating grip of our small town lives in rural Pennsylvania, where everyone knew everyone's business, and secrets were currency for judgment. Ben and I had been inseparable since high school, bonding over shared dreams of breaking free from the conservative mold our families pressed us into. His dad, a stern veteran and local church deacon, had always been the enforcer of those rules. No room for deviation, no tolerance for weakness. Yet here he was, in the dim light, his hands trembling as they clutched the stranger's shirt, whispering words I couldn't make out but felt like knives in my gut. I backed away silently, my mind reeling. Was this real? Mr. Thompson, the same man who'd lectured us endlessly about traditional values and the dangers of modern perversions. Living a double life? My stomach twisted as I retreated to the kitchen, pretending I'd just arrived when I heard footsteps descending. Alex? That you, son? His voice boomed, steady as ever. No trace of the vulnerability I'd witnessed. I forced a smile, nodding as he clapped me on the shoulder. His touch lingering just a second too long, sending an unwelcome shiver down my spine. What the hell was wrong with me? I'd buried my own attractions deep, convinced they were a phase, a flaw to be fixed. But seeing him like that stirred something forbidden, a mirror to my own hidden shame. Ben arrived late that night, drenched and apologetic, blaming a flat tire. We cracked open beers by the fire, talking about nothing and everything, college applications, girls we'd pretended to like, the future we both craved in the big city. All the while, Mr. Thompson hovered, his eyes darting between us with an intensity that made my skin crawl. "You boys be careful out there," he said, his tone laced with unspoken warnings. "World's full of temptations that can ruin a man." I nearly choked on my drink, the hypocrisy burning like acid. Did he know I knew? Or was this just his usual sermon, blind to his own sins? As the night wore on, sleep evaded me. Lying on the creaky couch, I replayed the scene in my head, over and over. The stranger's face, handsome, mid-40s, with a kind smile that contrasted Mr. Thompson's rugged features. Who was he? A colleague? A lover from the city? My thoughts spiraled inward. If a man like him could hide this, what hope did I have? I dated girls to fit in, kissed them with mechanical detachment, all while stealing glances at guys in the locker room, hating myself for it. Ben was straight as an arrow, oblivious to my turmoil. Telling him would destroy our friendship, expose me to the town's wrath. But keeping silent felt like complicity in a lie that could unravel everything. The next morning, breakfast was tense. Mr. Thompson cooked eggs with military precision. His back turned as Ben chattered about his latest crush. I watched him closely, searching for cracks in his facade. When Ben stepped out to chop wood, Mr. Thompson turned to me, his eyes piercing. "You look like you've seen a ghost, Alex. Everything all right?" My pulse raced. This was my chance to confront him, to demand answers. But the words stuck in my throat. "Just tired?" I muttered, averting my gaze. He nodded slowly, a flicker of something, relief, suspicion, crossing his face. In that moment, I realized the weight of secrets. They didn't just hide truths. They forged chains, binding us to choices we'd regret. We spent the day hiking the trails around the cabin, the fresh air doing little to clear my mind. Ben led the way, laughing about old times, while Mr. Thompson trailed behind, his silence heavy. Every step amplified my inner conflict. Why did seeing him with that man unsettle me so deeply? Was it betrayal or envy? Envy for the courage to act on desires I'd suppressed for years. Back home, My parents were cut from the same cloth, church every Sunday, prayers for guidance when I showed any sign of rebellion. Coming out wasn't an option. It was exile. Yet here, in this isolated bubble, the lines blurred. That evening, as storm clouds gathered again, Ben suggested a game of cards. The atmosphere crackled with unspoken tension. Mr. Thompson's laughs were forced, his glances at me loaded. When Ben folded early and headed to bed, we were left alone. "Alex," he said quietly, shuffling the deck, "you're a good kid. Ben's lucky to have you." His words hung in the air, pregnant with meaning. I wanted to scream, to accuse him of hypocrisy, but instead, I whispered, "I saw you last night." His face paled, the cards slipping from his hands. For the first time, the unbreakable Mr. Thompson looked fragile, human. "Please," he begged, voice breaking, "don't tell Ben. It would kill him." The plea hit me like a punch. Tell Ben? Destroy the family I'd envied for its stability? Or stay silent, complicit in the deception? My mind screamed for justice, but my heart ached with empathy. I'd lived that fear, the constant dread of exposure. As rain hammered the roof, I nodded, sealing our pact. But inside, the storm raged on. Was this mercy or cowardice? The weekend had just begun, and already the foundations of my world were cracking. The silence after my nod stretched like a taut wire, ready to snap. Mr. Thompson's eyes searched mine, gratitude mixed with wariness, as if he couldn't quite believe I'd keep his secret. I excused myself to the porch, the rain a relentless drumbeat mirroring the chaos in my head. Why had I agreed so quickly? Was it pity for the man I'd once admired, or fear that exposing him would force me to face my own truths? The thought gnawed at me. If I outed him, the fallout would ripple back, spotlighting my own buried attractions. Ben's family was my second home. Ruining it meant losing everything. Morning brought a fragile calm. Ben woke up oblivious, suggesting we fish at the nearby lake. Mr. Thompson joined us, his demeanor shifted, more watchful, less authoritative. As we cast lines into the still water, Ben teased me about my lack of catches. "Come on, Alex, you're thinking too hard. Just feel it." If only he knew how much thinking I was doing. Every glance at Mr. Thompson triggered a flood of questions. How long had this been going on? Did his wife know? Ben's mom had passed years ago, leaving him to raise Ben alone, which made the deception feel even crueler. He was supposed to be the rock, not the hypocrite. Out on the boat, isolation amplified my inner turmoil. I replayed childhood memories. Mr. Thompson coaching our little league team, preaching discipline and honor. "A real man faces his battles head-on," he'd say. Yet here he was, dodging his own. The irony burned. And me? I'd faced nothing, hiding behind straight pretense, dating Sarah last year just to silence the rumors. She'd sensed my distance, ended it with tears, calling me emotionally unavailable. If only she knew the half of it. Catching a fish snapped me back. Ben hooped, but Mr. Thompson's smile didn't reach his eyes. "Good job, son," he said to me, the word son laced with unintended irony. Back at the cabin, while Ben napped, Mr. Thompson cornered me in the kitchen. "We need to talk," he whispered urgently. My heart hammered. He led me to the study, closing the door softly. "That man you saw, his name's David. We've been involved for 2 years. The confession poured out, halting at first, then frantic. He'd met David at a veterans support group, bonding over shared traumas from the war. It started as friendship, but it became more. "I never planned this, Alex. God knows I've fought it." His voice cracked, revealing the torment beneath his stoic exterior. Fought it? Like I had, with late-night prayers and self-loathing? I listened, a storm brewing inside. "But you preach against it," I accused, my voice low but sharp. "All those sermons about family values, traditional marriage. How can you live like this?" He rubbed his temples, aging a decade in seconds. "Because I have to. For Ben. For the community. If this gets out, I'll lose my job at the church, my friends, everything." Ben's college fund comes from donations tied to my reputation. The stakes hit me hard. It wasn't just personal. It was survival. But what about integrity? And David? Depressed. Does he know you're ashamed? Mr. Thompson winced. He understands. We both do. It's not ideal, but it's what we have. The conversation left me reeling. Empathy clashed with anger. He was a victim of the same system that trapped me, yet his choices perpetuated it. By hiding, he reinforced the shame, making it harder for kids like me to come out. That night, as we grilled fish, Ben noticed the tension. You two okay? You're acting weird. We brushed it off, but his suspicion lingered. Alone in bed, I wrestled with demons. Tell Ben and watch his world crumble? Or protect the lie, betraying my own sense of right? The moral maze twisted deeper. Was love wrong if it hurt others? Mr. Thompson's affair wasn't just passion. It was a ticking bomb. The next day escalated the drama. Ben wanted to explore an old mine nearby, a forbidden spot from our youth. Mr. Thompson forbade it, his authority flaring. Too dangerous, he snapped. Ben argued. We're adults now, Dad. Stop treating us like kids. The standoff crackled with subtext. I sided with Ben, needing the distraction. Reluctantly, Mr. Thompson agreed, but his glare at me screamed warning. In the dim mine shafts, flashlights cutting through darkness, Ben confided, Dad's been off lately, more secretive. You notice? My throat tightened. Maybe stress? I lied, guilt coiling like a snake. Deeper in, a loose rock gave way, sending Ben tumbling. Panic surged as Mr. Thompson and I rushed to him. He was okay, just bruised, but the scare cracked Mr. Thompson's facade. I can't lose you, son, he choked out, hugging Ben fiercely. Watching them, envy stabbed me. That bond. Could I ever have it with my family if they knew? Back at the cabin, Ben thanked us, but Mr. Thompson pulled me aside. Thank you for not saying anything, but if you change your mind. His unfinished threat hung heavy. Change my mind? The power I held terrified me. One word and lives shattered. As evening fell, David called. Mr. Thompson stepped outside, his whispered argument audible. I can't keep doing this, he hissed. Returning, he looked defeated. It's over, he told me later. For Ben's sake. But his eyes betrayed the lie. The sacrifice fueled my inner fire. Was ending it right? Or just more denial? The weekend's revelations piled on, each one heavier, pushing me toward a breaking point I dreaded. The weight of Mr. Thompson's supposed breakup with David settled over the cabin like a fog, thickening the air with unspoken regrets. I couldn't shake the image of his haunted expression, the way his shoulders slumped as he stared into the fire that night. Ben, sensing the mood, tried to lighten things with stories from school, but his laughter rang hollow. Inside, my mind was a battlefield. Admiration for his sacrifice warred with contempt for the cowardice it represented. How many times had I made similar choices, swallowing my truth to preserve peace? But seeing it in him amplified the hypocrisy, making my own denials feel unbearable. Morning brought confrontation. Ben announced he was heading into town for supplies, leaving Mr. Thompson and me alone. The isolation amplified the tension. Why tell me it's over? I demanded as soon as Ben's truck faded down the drive. Mr. Thompson sighed, pouring coffee with trembling hands. Because you deserve the truth. And maybe, because I see myself in you. The words landed like a bomb. See himself in me? My face burned. What do you mean? He met my eyes steady now. I've watched you, Alex. The way you look at Ben sometimes or avoid talking about girls. You're struggling, aren't you? Denial surged, hot and defensive. I'm not. That's not. But the lie crumbled under his knowing gaze. For the first time, someone saw through my facade, and it terrified me. Tears stung my eyes as memories flooded. Stolen kisses with a boy at summer camp, buried guilt, endless nights questioning why I couldn't be normal. Mr. Thompson placed a hand on my arm, paternal yet charged. It's okay, son. I know the hell of it. But you can't let it define you. Fight it like I have. Fight it? The advice ignited rage. Fight it? By lying? Cheating? You're not fighting. You're hiding. My voice rose, echoing off the walls. He recoiled, pain etching his features. You think it's easy? I've lost friends, buried parts of myself for Ben. For duty. Duty, the word twisted like a knife. My parents drilled it into me. Family first, society second, self last. But at what cost? And David, I shot back. You love him, don't you? Throwing that away isn't strength. It's surrender. He paced, conflicted. Love? It's complicated. But Ben comes first. Always. The paternal devotion clashed with his secrets, creating a moral quagmire. Was protecting Ben noble or selfish avoidance? The argument unearthed deeper wounds. He confessed more. Suppressed feelings since the army, marriages to women as cover, the constant fear of exposure. Society doesn't forgive men like us, he said bitterly. Men like us, the phrase bound us, unwilling allies in a war against ourselves. But I pushed back. Maybe it's changing. In the cities, people are out, proud. He scoffed. Not here. Not in our world. His pessimism fueled my defiance. Why accept chains when we could break them? Yet doubt crept in. Outing myself meant risking family rejection. Ben's friendship, my future. Ben returned sooner than expected, groceries in hand, interrupting our heated whispers. His eyes narrowed. What's going on? You two look like you're plotting a murder. We laughed it off, but suspicion seeded. Over lunch, small talk frayed. Ben prodded. Dad, you've been distant. Everything okay? Mr. Thompson forced a smile. Just work stuff. The lie hung, and I saw Ben's hurt. That afternoon, we repaired the cabin's fence. Physical labor a temporary escape. But as hammers swung, thoughts pounded. Tell Ben everything? Force transparency? Or let the deception fester? Evening brought escalation. A knock at the door revealed David, rain-soaked and desperate. We need to talk, he said, ignoring our stares. Mr. Thompson paled, ushering him inside. Ben's confusion exploded. Who the hell is this? The confrontation erupted. David, unaware of the audience, pleaded. You can't just end us like this, Mark. I love you. The words detonated. Ben's face contorted in shock. Love? Dad, what is he talking about? Mr. Thompson stammered. It's not. Ben, let me explain. Chaos ensued. Ben stormed out, yelling accusations. I chased him into the rain, guilt crashing over me. Ben, wait. He whirled, eyes blazing. Did you know? About my dad being gay? The word spat like venom. I nodded, ashamed. I saw them. I didn't know how to tell you. Betrayal twisted his features. You're my best friend. How could you hide this? His pain mirrored my own fears, discovery equaling loss. We argued in the downpour, voices raw. He's still your dad, I urged. This doesn't change that. But Ben shook his head. It changes everything. He's a liar. Back inside, Mr. Thompson and David sat apart, the air thick with regret. David left soon after, whispering apologies. Mr. Thompson collapsed, sobbing. I've ruined it all. Seeing him broken amplified my turmoil. His choices had led here, but so had society's pressures. Was he the villain or the victim? As Ben isolated himself upstairs, I confronted my role. By staying silent, I'd enabled the hurt. The night dragged, filled with what-ifs. Could honesty have prevented this? Or was pain inevitable in a world that demanded conformity? The aftermath of David's revelation hung like a noose, tightening with every passing hour. Ben barricaded himself in his room, refusing to speak, while Mr. Thompson paced the living room, a ghost of the man he'd been. I sat between them, mediator by default, my own secrets bubbling closer to the surface. Why hadn't I pushed for truth earlier? Fear, always fear of judgment, loss, the unknown. But now, with the family fracturing before my eyes, silence felt like betrayal. You have to talk to him, I urged Mr. Thompson. He nodded wearily, knocking on Ben's door. Son, please. Ben emerged, face etched with anger and confusion. Explain, he demanded, voice cracking. Mr. Thompson sat him down, the confession spilling out in halting waves. The war scars that warped his sense of self, the marriage to Ben's mom as a shield, the discovery of his true desires too late. I never wanted to hurt you, he pleaded. I thought hiding it would protect us.
Ben listened, tears streaming.
Protect? You've been lying my whole life. Was Mom just a cover? The accusation pierced, revealing layers of deception. Mr. Thompson winced. I loved her in my way, but yes, part of it was expected. The raw honesty deepened the wounds. Ben turned to me. And you? How long did you know? I confessed everything, the accidental discovery, the pact of silence. I was scared, I admitted. Scared for you, for him, for me. The last words slipped out, heavy with implication. Ben's eyes widened. For you? What do you mean? My heart seized. This was the moment. Confess or continue the charade.
I'm
like your dad, I whispered. Gay. I've known for years, but hid it. The admission hung, vulnerable and terrifying. Ben recoiled, shock morphing into hurt. You too? My best friend. Lying to me? The double betrayal hit him hard. He stormed out again, leaving Mr. Thompson and me in stunned silence. You did the right thing, Mr. Thompson said softly. Coming out takes courage I never had. But his encouragement rang hollow. My truth had widened the rift. Alone, I grappled with the fallout. Was honesty worth this pain? Society preached authenticity, but in practice it demanded sacrifice. My parents' faces flashed, their disappointment inevitable if word spread. Hours later, Ben returned, drenched and defeated. We gathered in the kitchen, the air electric with unresolved tension. Why? Ben asked his dad. Why not tell me sooner? Mr. Thompson's voice broke. Fear of losing you, the church, the town, they'd turn on us. Ben nodded slowly, empathy creeping in. I get it, but it hurts. Turning to me, and you, Alex? Were you ever going to tell me? Shame flooded me. I wanted to, but seeing how people treat us, I couldn't. The conversation shifted to mending, but undercurrents of doubt remained. Ben hugged his dad tentatively, a fragile bridge. Yet peace was short-lived. That night, Ben confided in me alone. I don't know if I can forgive him, or you. His words stabbed deeper than expected. Friendship, once unbreakable, now fragile. Give it time, I urged, but inside, panic swelled. What if this ended us? The moral dilemmas piled. Forgiveness versus accountability, love versus truth. Mr. Thompson's choices had cost dearly, but mine echoed them. As sleep claimed me fitfully, dreams tormented. Exposure, rejection, isolation. The final day dawned stormy. Ben suggested leaving early, the cabin's sanctuary tainted. Packing, tension simmered. Mr. Thompson pulled me aside. Thank you for your honesty. It gave me strength. But his eyes betrayed lingering regret over David. Will you reach out to him? I asked. He shook his head. Can't. Too risky. The decision fueled my frustration. Perpetual hiding, perpetual pain. On the drive home, Ben was quiet, processing. Do you think people can change? He asked suddenly. Or are we stuck with our mistakes? The question mirrored my inner debate. Dropping me off, Ben hesitated. I need space, Alex, to figure this out. The words gutted me. Alone in my room, reality crashed. My confession had liberated me, but at what price? Family calls loomed. How to explain the weekend? Lies, more lies. The cycle continued, but a spark ignited. Perhaps breaking it started with me. Yet doubt whispered. Was the cost too high? The emotional toll mounted, each revelation stripping layers, exposing raw nerves. The drive home replayed in endless loops, Ben's parting words echoing like a death knell to our friendship. Space. After years of shared secrets, except the one that mattered most, I stared at my ceiling that night, the weight of exposure crushing. Coming out to him hadn't freed me. It had isolated me further. My mind raced through alternatives. If I'd stayed silent, would the facade hold? But no, lies festered, as Mr. Thompson's life proved. His broken family flashed. Ben's anger, the shattered trust. Was that my future? Morning brought dread. My phone buzzed, a text from Ben. We need to talk. Come over. Heart pounding, I drove to their house, the familiar street now alien. Mr. Thompson answered, looking haggard. He's in his room. Be gentle. Upstairs. Ben sat on his bed, eyes red-rimmed. I couldn't sleep, he admitted, thinking about everything. We talked for hours, peeling back layers. He confessed his own biases, shaped by the town's rhetoric. I never thought about Dad that way. Or you. Hurt lingered, but understanding dawned. It doesn't change who you are to me, he said finally. But it hurts you hid it. Relief mixed with lingering pain. Forgiveness wasn't instant. It was a process, fraught with setbacks. Mr. Thompson joined us, the trio united in vulnerability. I'm going to tell the church, he announced. No more hiding. The decision stunned us. Why now? Ben asked. Because of Alex. His courage showed me the cost of cowardice. Pride swelled, but fear tempered it. The town would react harshly, whispers, shunning, worse. Yet his resolve inspired. Perhaps change started with one act. The confession rippled outward. Mr. Thompson met with the pastor, emerging battered but unbowed. They asked me to step down, he said later. But I feel free. Ben supported him, their bond strengthening through adversity. For me, the dominoes fell. I told my parents that week. Their reaction was a storm, tears, questions, conditional love. We'll get you help, Mom said, denial thick. Dad was silent, disappointed. The rejection cut deep, amplifying inner conflicts. Was authenticity worth familial fracture? Society's progress felt illusory in our conservative pocket. Weeks blurred into months of fallout. Ben and I rebuilt slowly, our friendship deeper but scarred. Mr. Thompson reconnected with David cautiously, navigating new boundaries. But betrayals lingered. Neighbors' cold shoulders, lost opportunities. I questioned every choice. Hiding versus revealing, love versus duty. The moral ambiguities haunted right and wrong, blurred in the gray of human frailty. One evening, Ben and I sat by the lake, reflecting. Do you regret it? He asked. Coming out. Pondered. No. But the pain. It's real. He nodded. Dad says the same. Freedom has a price. The conversation turned philosophical. Society's role in our suffering, the ethics of secrets. As stars emerged, peace settled, fragile but earned. Yet doubts persisted. Mr. Thompson's life stabilized, but at cost. Financial strain, social isolation. David moved in eventually, a quiet victory amid judgment. For me, college loomed, a chance to escape, redefine. But the scars remained, reminders of battles fought. In the end, the weekend's revelations forced us all to pay dearly. Lost illusions, fractured bonds, awakened selves. Choices defined us, each with consequences. But was the truth always worth the devastation? Was hiding one's true self ever justifiable when it protects loved ones? Or is it always a form of betrayal that ultimately causes more harm?